Welcome to the AI Factory podcast. There's a palpable anxiety in the air right now about AI, isn't there? The big question, the one that's probably on your mind too, is my job safe? Is my career going to be obsolete? Well, in this explainer, we're going to tackle that question head on. We're going to look past the fear and find a path toward, believe it or not, empowerment.
And a great place to start is with this thought from Reid Hoffman, the co-founder of LinkedIn. He says AI will lead to job transformation. And that word, transformation, that's everything. The point here isn't to try and stop the wave, right? Because we can't. The real game is figuring out how to ride it, how to understand what's happening, adapt, and actually use this shift to our advantage.
So, here's our game plan for today. We'll start with the new job market, then dive into what's called the entrepreneurial mindset. From there, we'll explore this new world of AI co-pilots, and we'll wrap up by looking ahead to our super intelligent future. Sound good? Let's get into it. All right, so let's dive into part one, AI in the new job market. This is the why. Why are we even having this conversation? And the reason it's so urgent is that, well, this isn't some far-off hypothetical thing anymore. The change is real, and it's starting to show up in the numbers.
20 to 25%. That's the drop we've recently seen in entry-level software jobs in India. And that's a huge signal. It tells us that AI is already starting to reshape the job landscape, especially for those first step on the ladder roles in tech. It suddenly makes the whole thing feel a lot less abstract and a lot more real, doesn't it?
And that's the million-dollar question, isn't it? When you see a statistic like that, it's impossible not to ask, okay, what does this mean for my career? It brings up all this uncertainty and really hammers home that we need a new playbook, a new way of thinking about our professional lives. Which leads us right into our second section, the entrepreneurial mindset. This is the core idea, the what and how. So if the old career map is, getting a little outdated, what does the new one look like? Well, Reid Hoffman argues that the key, the absolute key, is developing an entrepreneurial mindset.
Now hang on, when you hear entrepreneurial, you might think, oh, that's for founders, for people starting companies. But that's not what this is about. This is a way of thinking for everyone. It's about looking at your career not as a job you just fall into, but as a venture that you are actively building. You're the CEO of your own career, constantly on the lookout for problems to solve and using these amazing new AI tools to create real value.
The career of the future is entrepreneurship. I mean, that's a huge statement, right? It signals this massive shift in thinking. The old way was find a job posting, check the boxes, and fit into the role. The new way? It's about you creating the value. You're not waiting around for someone to tell you what to do. You're proactively hunting for challenges and using AI as your partner in crime to tackle them. But okay, what does that actually look like day to day? Well, it boils down to what Hoffman calls computational thinking, and it's basically a 4-step dance with AI. First, you frame a problem you want to solve. Get really clear on it. Second, you ask the AI to help you write the perfect prompt to research it. Third, you don't just accept the first thing, you edit and refine that prompt together. And finally, step 4, you execute and build on what you get back. It's not just using a tool, it's a strategic partnership.
Okay, so that brings us to our third part, this world of co-pilots. What happens when everyone starts working this way? What's the so what? Well, the consequence is that we're basically entering an era where everyone, and I mean everyone, has an AI co-pilot. And that is completely changing the game when it comes to productivity.
And listen to how Reid Hoffman puts it in his own words. He says stuff that used to take him a couple of hours can now take him just 10 or 15 minutes. Think about that. We're not talking about shaving off a little bit of time here and there. This is a quantum leap in efficiency. It's a total game changer.
So yeah, productivity is absolutely exploding. And here's the really crucial part. This isn't just about automation replacing people. It's about augmentation. It's about making us better, faster, smarter. It's like giving everyone a superpower, giving us the leverage to tackle bigger and more interesting problems. That's the engine that powers this whole entrepreneurial mindset.
And this AI co-pilot, it's not just for software engineers. It's for, well, pretty much everyone. We're seeing it in creative projects, in business problem solving, in deep research and analysis, even in just writing better emails. It is becoming a universal co-pilot for all of us, no matter what our job is.
So, where does this all lead? That brings us to our final section, looking out at the horizon, at what's next. What happens when these co-pilots get smarter and maybe even become super intelligent? Well, this is where things get really interesting, because even the top minds in the field don't all agree. You've got this fascinating debate.
On one side, you have people like Geoffrey Hinton, one of the godfathers of AI, who's worried that superintelligent systems might just take away almost all the jobs. But then, in the other corner, you have optimists like Reid Hoffman, who's pretty confident we'll adapt, just like we always have after every other big tech revolution.
And Hoffman's vision of that future is pretty cool. He imagines something like a Star Trek universe. The idea is, if AI and automation can handle all our basic needs, then what are we left to do? Well, we get to focus on what makes us human, having dinner parties, creating art, building communities, exploring our hobbies. Our purpose doesn't vanish, it just evolves into something, maybe even something better.
And that really brings us to the final and maybe most important question. The question isn't what jobs will AI leave for us? The real question is, in a world with this much power at our fingertips, what challenges will you choose to solve? The future isn't just something that's going to happen to us. It's something we get to build. What will you build?
Hey, if you've got some value out of this explainer, do us a favor and hit that subscribe button. We've got a lot more deep dives coming on the topics that are shaping our future.
And if you really want to go deeper, you've got to check out the book, AI Factory: Architecting Global Supremacy. We've dropped a link right in the description for you. Thanks so much for watching.